It's not just about running up and down the scale. We're using that scale, but we're really wanting to swing and tell a story. So check this out. Well, I'll just kind of yell it out. I'm going to say on the low two strings, I'm going to develop it each chorus, and I'm going to be pretty repetitive. Only these two strings. And here we go, next chorus. Now, finally, these two. And maybe a little bit busier triplets. Octaves. This is very Pat Martino. Grand Green, repetition. That's a great question. That's why I kind of just started off by showing you the melody. Not only wrote it, it's just right there. Melody. I really feel strongly it's important to learn the melodies to these songs. That it's not just about like, hey, I'm on A minor, just play all your licks. You do want to have it relate to the song. I'm really big on learning the melody, even learning the words to it too really helps. I'm going to hit a few topics today. They're all dealing with the same idea of playing pentatonics, either minor or major, and how they relate. And we're going to motifs within the scale, lean on the flat 5, don't play the flat 5, do some repetition of one note. I'm just going to do a quick demo on just another topic that I'm often talking about, staying on one or two strings. You'll hear me say this quite a bit. It kind of relates to like my triad approach on the top 3 strings. I'm just going to stay on the top 2 strings, okay, for just one time through, and then have you guys try it as well. So check this out. Repetition. What else can I do? I know I want to climb up a little bit higher. We'll talk about that, building it up. Maybe add the 3rd string in. And make it as much music as you can. And then I did add this note in, that's the next position. Same scale. Oh, I added the 4th string in, but I'm trying to limit myself. And you have to get rhythmic. And repetitive. I want to add this note. you could definitely see these little bluesy licks, these slurs, very kind of a Grant Green. If you all are familiar with Grant Green, he's one of my favorites. Really soulful guitar player, and really simple in many ways. Not very notey. He just was really rhythmic. So I'm doing a lot of these slurs like this, hammer-ons, pull-offs. It's very horn-like phrasing, basically. And notice, I don't know if you caught this, but what I did here on the third string, just the notes right on the scale, I moved it quickly to the first string, and an octave higher. I went like this. That's a really beautiful trick, by the way, of moving your lick or your phrase, your idea, through a couple different octaves. Okay, piano players do that, horn players. You kind of just milk the same idea, you know what I mean? So the idea might have started here, but then I took it up an octave. So it's not like I'm really, coming up with a lot of new ideas. I just might be playing in a different octave. And again, I think that another aspect of this is learning to pace yourself with your solo. Oftentimes in gypsy jazz, as opposed to swing or jazz, not to try to generalize too much, but oftentimes the guitar players are all over the fretboard right away, just really all over the neck. They don't give themselves any room to kind of develop their solo. So I really do like this approach of just starting, and now I'm actually, this portion is like, hey, let's talk about building your solo. Kind of starting simple, leaving space, starting low even. There I was demonstrating high, I realized, but why not just start low on the low strings? And then for each, I'm going to demonstrate this, and maybe you guys can just kind of noodle around with me, but maybe you would limit yourself on the lower strings, the sixth and the fifth, for the first chorus. And then the next chorus, the next two strings, the fourth and third string, and then the next two strings. And then if you're on your fourth chorus, the next strings. Wes Montgomery did something very similar, not necessarily kind of like that strict of a rule, but he would start off with kind of bluesier single note lines, then he would bust into octaves for the next chorus, and then he would bust into some chord melody style playing to really kind of, again, think about pacing. So again, that's more of a conceptual idea, but I think it's very valid to think about while you're soloing. It's not just about running up and down the scale. We're using that scale, but we're really wanting to swing and tell a story. So check this out. Well, I'll just kind of yell it out. I'm going to see on the low two strings, I'm going to develop it each chorus. Repetitive. Only these two strings. And here we go, next chorus. Finally, these two. And maybe a little bit busier triplets. Octaves. Very Pat Martino, Grant Green. there I was taking a slide. So I'm taking this note of the blues scale, and then instead of going here, I went. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of a refingering. Essentially, I'm kind of in the next position of the same scale, like this. But I like to kind of just, sneak into the next position. So again, that was this. You can also have done it here. It's nice to hear that slide. Otherwise, it would sound like this. That would be played as written on that worksheet, how I wrote it. But so what you're going to encounter is refingering of the notes. I think that's very important, and try to make it so that you can phrase it how you want to hear it. Phrase it meaning hammer on, pull off, articulate it, pick, slide. I think those things all really make it very lyrical.